Hi. Okay, so this video, I haven't done any pre-plannedness for it, so it's going to be a lot like that where things come out and don't make any fucking sense. But it feels important, and this YouTube channel is supposed to be spoken word, yes, but mostly mental health. The spoken word performance poetry that I do completely came from trying to deal with my own mental health issues, and now has turned into, yes, dealing with my own, but also trying to help where I can if other people are struggling. And so I'm just going to share this with you. So this isn't a poem video, this is going to be more like a conversation, albeit a very one-sided one because you can't reply. But if you want to say something, there's a comment section, so feel free to comment. Yesterday, I was in the shower, which isn't important, but also like these realization moments, they always happen like when you're in bed or in the shower or walking or something. So I was in the shower and I had this massive realization that I do not accept anything about myself. And that sounds really dramatic, and this is not a woe is me video, this is a positive video, you will see why. But it's true. I don't accept anything about myself. So let me try and explain, because I feel like there's no way, there's billions of people in the world and I'm the only one who feels like this. So this is why I'm sharing it, because some people might have realised this already and kind of gone through their little journey of it and be very accepting now of everything about themselves, which is fabulous, because I'm hoping that that's where I'm about to head. But some people will be in my position where they maybe realise they don't accept things about themselves but haven't really got through the journey of accepting yet. And some people maybe won't have had that realisation but will listen to this and go, oh, same. And then this can be their realisation moment and we can go on this journey of acceptance together. This started with, I have flashbacks and I do not accept them. I realised this very recently. I think I thought I did. I think I thought, because I talk about my mental health all the time, I've written a book, good author skills. I've written a book about mental health, and I think I thought that meant that I was accepting of the things that I deal with. And I talk about them very openly. And so surely that's me accepting them. But I realised there's no way I can accept them, because all of for example, this is one reason why I realised I don't accept them. I have, I've actually got them here, a pack of flashcards, and they have like things that I found online through mental health help sites. Every kind of page is something to ground you if you're having a flashback. Would also work with panic attacks and stuff, and anxiety and stuff. So I have those, and yet I hate them. They work. I know they work. I've used them and they work. And I've used them with my partner. Like, he's read them out to me if I've been so far gone, because I've tried to put it off. I've been so far gone that I can't then get myself out of it. And somebody else reading them out to me and making me do the exercises in there, it works. I know they work. But I hate them because I don't accept that I have flashbacks. And so if I was more accepting of the fact that I have them, I think it would be easier to deal with them. Because if I was accepting, I'd run through these even when I wasn't having one, so that when I was having one, this was easier to do, this came to mind, this was more comfortable, I knew it worked. Because I do, deep down I know it works, but I don't accept that I have them. I think that I'm going to wake up one day and it's going to be like, they're gone now. It's been 15 years, and 15 years is the deadline for flashbacks. That was a very big realisation for me, that I think I don't accept what I thought I accepted just because I speak about it. Doesn't mean I'm accepting of it in my life. And then I think that just fed into like panic attacks, depression, anxiety, all very different things to experience, but I think the same applies in the sense of being accepting. I just get frustrated and mad and angry and pissed off that I have all these things that I have to deal with. And those emotions are completely valid. Emotions are always valid. It's not that I shouldn't feel that way, but I think if I was accepting of the fact that I have them and that they're a part of my life and a part of me, I think all those extreme emotions I feel towards them would be more manageable, would maybe be less intense, and they'd be easier to deal with. And maybe even just reduce the amount that I deal with them. I think acceptance of just ourselves and everything about ourselves I'm hoping this is making sense. So after realising then that this acceptance needed to be brought through all of my mental health issues, to be able to cope and deal better and live more comfortably, I then realised I'd do it with, say, image things. So for example, I would be like, well, I can't film today because I've eaten too much recently and I feel big and I need to lose a few pounds, or I need to be fitter before I film something, and my hair isn't what I want, like my hair would look better, or my skin isn't clear enough. And I was going through all these thoughts in the shower, and I was thinking, how dare I think of myself in that way? I'm always looking towards what I could be and thinking about the future me, and how it's cool because when I've lost that weight, I'll make that video and then that'll go up, and then I'll start my YouTube channel back up again once I'm in a better place physically and fitness wise. What is wrong with me right now for me to tell myself that I will be better when I've done this, when I've done that? I was really disappointed with myself that that's how I think of myself, because I would give everybody else the opposite advice to what's actually going through my head. And so all these thoughts just kept unravelling. And so then I'd got onto the personal appearance side of it, and I realised I am never accepting of myself. It doesn't matter if I'm a size 8 or a size 14, which is kind of the sizes that I've always fluctuated between. I'm never okay with it. I'm never accepting of it. There's always something that needs to be different. I'm not accepting of who I am ever in the present moment. I'm only ever accepting of what could be, what will be, what I think will be, what could be or will be if I made more effort, when I changed something, if I did more, if I lost that weight. I'm always accepting of a future version of me that doesn't exist, and never accepting of the version of me right now in this present moment that exists, that there is nothing wrong with. Like, I could argue it all I want and be like, yeah, but I have panic attacks and flashbacks, and I'm not the size that I want to be, and I'm not as fit as I want to be, and my hair isn't how I want it to be, and like, from physical to emotional and mental, I could argue that there are things wrong with me all day long, but there isn't. Not even with all the things that I would change about, or would want to change. They're not wrong about me. And so I need to start accepting them. And I think I would add as well, like the weight and the size and the making videos when I feel on form and at my best, I think comes from a social media side of things, where social media just portrays all, like, and it shows in when we're, as artists, we're like trying to promote our art. So for me, it's like writing on Instagram, like quotes and poetry bits. But if I post a quote, it will get a certain amount of likes, triple that if I post a picture of my face. And I think that, and again, add more to that if the photo of my face is airbrushed and I've got my makeup on point and my hair looks good and the lighting is right and my body is thin, and like, it is social media that puts those pressures on us as well. And I'm fucking sick of it, to be honest. I'm not gonna just accept what I will be or what I could be. I'm going to start accepting what I am right now and what I'm doing right now and what is happening right now. And in doing that, I think I'll hopefully live a bit more of a freer and less constrained life. I'm very constrained in the way I think about myself. Constantly thinking about a future version of me and accepting that future version instead of accepting the right now version. Crazy. I constantly preach you are enough to people, always, and I believe it. When I'm talking about someone else, I believe that you are enough. I know you are. And I only recently, like I said yesterday, realised that I can keep saying it as much as I want. I don't actually believe it about myself. I don't actually accept myself the way I am. And I'm sure other people are in the same boat where they don't accept themselves how they are, and they should. They should feel like they can accept everything about themselves, even the bad things. And I even have a line in one of my poems that says, "It's okay if you can't see a future with me because I can and I am enough." And I'm writing lines like that And then I'm thinking, well, I don't know where that came from, because that's not what I believe. Great line, not gonna lie, love the line. Great near end to a poem about a lad. And not even believable, because I don't believe I'm enough. I don't accept myself the way I am now. I accept a version of me that I could be. Which is just crazy. Now, another thing as well, with where I said the thoughts just kept spiralling and more things I realised I didn't accept about myself, would then be nightmares. And like night times I don't sleep very well because I have a lot of nightmares, but also I have a weak bladder, so I get up in the night to go for a wee constantly. And both of those things, because they interrupt my sleep, they make me so angry. And then I get wound up, I wind myself up about them as they're happening. And then the anger and the frustration and the being pissed off that it's happening and that I'm like this and that I can't accept that I'm like this then stops me sleeping even more, because I'm just fuming. I'm just so mad. And yes, again, the emotions are valid, but allowing those emotions to take over just from the fact that I don't accept these things in my life then makes things worse, makes the sleeping worse. The lack of sleeping worse. Whereas I was thinking, and I actually did it last night, which this is going to sound like overnight I'm cured. Not what I'm saying. Last night was actually a bad night. I went for a wee probably 5 times during the night, and 2 of those times that I got up I woke up from nightmares. So last night was quite a bad night. But what I did do, because I had this acceptance realisation yesterday, every time I woke up I talked myself into accepting it. And so what was different last night wasn't that I went for a wee any less, wasn't that I didn't have nightmares, but was that every time either of those things happened, I was okay with it. It was still uncomfortable, it still sucked, but I was like, accept it. This is just how it is. You getting angry and frustrated isn't going to make it any better right now. You want to sleep. That's why you're angry and frustrated. And then the anger and frustration is going to keep you awake. So it's counterproductive. Whereas the acceptance of, oh, this is just, oh, what a surprise. You know, I've had a nightmare. What a surprise. Light on, go for a wee, come back, compose, lie back down, accept that it's a part of my nights. And then maybe at some point through this acceptance, they will lessen and they will get less intense and they will be easier to deal with and the sleep will increase, because there'll be less of a thing. Again, just acceptance that that is how my body works right now, and how it works right now is absolutely fine. It's perfect. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with the way I am. And it just sounds like silly saying there's nothing wrong when you've clearly got a bladder problem. I understand that. Obviously, if you've got an issue, health issues and stuff, see your doctor. But it's not a reason to be angry at yourself, and it's not a reason to not accept yourself. Accept it as a part of you. Yes, obviously, if you're struggling with your mental health or physical health, please reach out and get help. I do myself, but it doesn't mean we can't accept that those things are a part of us, and that it just makes them easier to live with and deal with. I think. I'm hoping. Maybe I'll have to do like a future video where I'm like, acceptance update, does it work? And I'm like, doesn't work. Remove the last video. No, it will. I'm sure it will. Acceptance is huge. I always talk about acceptance in the sense of we have to understand and accept other people and what they're going through so that they feel more comfortable to reach out for help. What about accepting ourselves? And I preach going on about you are enough. And I don't believe it about myself. Huge realisation for me, huge. And I'm going to try and be more accepting of myself and all of my little quirks that I have to deal with, and maybe they'll be easier to deal with. One more thing I realised as well, when my thoughts were unravelling and I was like, I don't accept this, I don't accept this, I don't accept this, I then realised there was one more thing. I struggle with real sensitive to noises, especially like tiny noises that people probably wouldn't notice, like people parting their lips and stuff. And because I get so angry when I can hear all these tiny noises and they really frustrate me, and it almost makes me angry at the person who's making the noise, but I direct it back at myself because I would never direct that anger at somebody who doesn't deserve it. And so then I get really angry at myself, and I realised I don't accept that about myself. And also, I mean, without consciously thinking about it, why would I? Why would I be accepting of something that really bothers me? But I do think that by being accepting of it, I will be able to help myself deal with the problem, and almost like, rather than ignoring the problem and hoping it goes away, fully bring the problem in, accept the problem, and just deal with it, me and the problem together. And I do have noise cancelling headphones because sometimes I just cannot deal and I have to block them out, and that's okay too. But just being accepting that that's how I live, that is the way it is. And it happened last night where I heard some noises that I couldn't deal with, and I was like, be accepting of how you feel right now. Your anger is valid, how you feel is valid. Rather than telling myself off for having this issue and for struggling with this issue, I went, it's all right. Accept that this is how you live and this is how you are. I'm still very new to this realisation, so I don't know whether what I'm saying is making very much sense. I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping it's in some way insightful and useful. Don't get me wrong, goals and aspirations are amazing and are important. Yes, keep having those. Keep having goals and aspirations for the future. But they should not mean that we don't accept ourselves the way we are now, or that we make ourselves feel like we're not quite good enough until we reach that goal or until we get to where we want to be. If anything, it's just putting a limit on the amount of happiness we could have in the present moment by thinking we're not good enough until we reach a goal, and only accepting the version that we could be and not the version we are. I understand that they're the things that I don't accept, the flashbacks, the panic attacks, the anxiety, the depression, anything physical I don't accept, the nightmares, the weak bladder, not sleeping very well, irritation to noise, all of those things that I do not accept about myself. It doesn't mean by accepting them that I'm saying that I don't want to continue to work to get better. What I'm saying is, I think by accepting them as a part of me and a part of my life, it will help me to deal with them, live with them, and ultimately to get better. I don't like the term get better, because you're not like a better person if you don't struggle with those things as to if you do. So it's not really the term I want to use, but I'm struggling to think of another one. So yeah, I'm not saying that accepting those things means, right, I'm just accepting how I am and I never want to try and improve on those things. Of course, let's still try to get to a point where we're living an easier life, but I think accepting those things will help that, will aid that. So in conclusion, I'm going to try and accept who I am, not just a version of me that I believe I will be in the future, but accept who I am right now, what is happening right now, what I'm doing right now. And yes, it is good to look towards the future and to have goals and to have aspirations and to want to work on things in your life. But it's not okay to only accept what will be once you've done all those things. We have to accept how we are right now as being absolutely perfect. Because it will be perfect then, but it's also perfect now. Where you are right now, perfect. Who you are right now, perfect. How you look right now, perfect. And who knows, maybe being more accepting of ourselves in the present moment will make the present moment a little bit easier, a little bit more bearable, and maybe, dare I say it, a little bit happier.